Now to a new record for your president, Joe Biden. According to Breitbart, in just 18 months, Biden spent a whopping 150 days enjoying rest and relaxation. Remember that from the cartoons? Anyway, away from the White House. Joining us now with reaction, Fox News contributor Charlie Hurt and chief pollster of the Trafalgar Group, Robert Cahaly, is with us. Charlie, let's start with the vacation time. I don't know if I want him in Washington or out of Washington because it's embarrassing for the country every time he speaks. His policies are destroying the economy. His foreign policy has been an unmitigated disaster. We just passed the one-year mark where he abandoned Americans in Afghanistan, something he promised he would never do. So maybe he's better off on vacation. I think I'm leaning towards that side.
Oh, I could not agree with you more, Sean. If we could set up a fund to get him to go on vacation for 7 days of every week, I think a lot of Americans would be a lot happier. At this rate, he's going to be at home for an entire year of his four-year term. It's pretty extraordinary, but I have to also give him a little bit of props for this. It's not like he campaigned in any different way. This is exactly how he campaigned. This is how he's governing. The only problem is everything that he said during the campaign turned out to be a lie. But the only thing that turned out to be true was the fact that he was going to do it all from his basement in Delaware.
All right, let's talk about the polls. I mentioned Reuters at the top, Robert Cahaly, 70% of the country, and that's consistent with many other polls, believe we're on the wrong track. I'm not as worried about the House, and I like the fact that Kevin McCarthy has his promises or commitment to the American people that every candidate will sign, and that will hopefully hold them accountable to the words they say. Mitch McConnell's resistant in the Senate. I'm wondering why, because I look at the Senate as not so easy for Republicans. You got Florida, Marco Rubio. I'm pretty confident he'll win down there. You got a tough race for Herschel Walker in Georgia. Then we've got Bud in North Carolina. Then we're looking at New Hampshire. Dr. Oz, it's always a tough state for a Republican in Pennsylvania. They're dumping $50 million on Ron Johnson in Wisconsin. Then, of course, we got Eric Schmidt in Missouri. We got J.D. Vance running in Ohio. He's a new candidate. I think we have a good pickup opportunity with Adam Laxalt in Nevada. And then, of course, we have Blake Masters in Arizona. Then you can look at Colorado and Washington. When you look specifically at the Senate, what do you think the Republicans' odds are?
Well, I think they're a little better than what the odds makers are putting it, because what people aren't really doing is they're not looking at these polls and the percentage of them that are undecided. We have a lot of people who are saying undecided in these early polls, but if you dig into the crosstabs, you'll notice that these people are also saying very unfavorable or unfavorable about Biden. Well, I can assure you, if you're unfavorable or very unfavorable about Biden and you're saying undecided, you're not voting for Fetterman. You're not voting for Warnock. And so that's a little bit of a misnomer. When you run with Joe Biden, it's like running with a house full of termites. You don't see it at first. You don't have to talk about it. But eventually, it's the only issue that's going to matter.
Do you see a wave that many others are talking about? Because I refuse to go down this is going to be a wave election year. I always like to run elections and in my mind think we're 5 points down.
No, I think it's going to be a street fight down to the end, but I don't think anybody should be writing off the Republican candidates just because they're down in the polls. This is very early in an election cycle, and we hadn't even gotten to Labor Day. And you know, this is typical Washington D.C. fodder. Everybody wants to play the parlor games, but what really matters is what happens when we get past Labor Day, and when these Republicans come home.
You're going to have early voting in October. You'll have early voting in October. Charlie Hurt, how do you see the election? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah. Finish your thought, Robert.
So you know, Robert's polls are about the only polls I trust for any race out there. But you're exactly right about this. You know, in particular in the Senate, the Republicans face a very, very difficult uphill challenge. If they win in a place like Pennsylvania, that's a hold. So they've got an uphill fight there, and Republicans better fight like they're 5 or 10 points behind. But the other thing.
But Charlie,
exactly.
Florida's a hold.
But the other thing is,
Ohio's a hold. North Carolina's a hold. Pennsylvania's a hold. Wisconsin's a hold. Those are all holds.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's bleak for the map is very bleak, and of course you go 2 years and 4 years from now, the map looks a whole lot better for Republicans. But here's the other thing that I think that is important to remember is that when you have inflation where it is right now, you have gas prices where they are right now, you have crime where it is right now. Most voters are not thinking about the November election. They're thinking about how they're going to pay to fill their car right now. And so I think a lot of, like Robert was saying, there are a lot of people who are undecided, but man, come November and they vote on gas prices, they are throwing Democrats out.
All right, it's coming fast, 84 days away. Charlie Hurt, Robert Cahaly, thank you.